Hi guys, it's Gecko, and today I'm bringing you my mid-year book freakout tag. I'm reading all the questions, I've written most of the answers in, and yeah, so I think the best thing to do would be to move the books that I'm going to be putting in my July CBR, which I'm totally not filming right after this. I'm not that behind, I promise. So I can stack the books up there. So the first question is best book so far in 2020, which I'm taking as which is the best book you've read so far in 2020. And for me, it's Every Heart a Doorway by Sean Maguire. The first book in the Wayward Children series, which is about a group of children. It's a school. Wayward Children is a school. Eleanor West Home for Wayward Children. It's like a school, but it's also like a home. Yeah. And it's for these kids who have been to different worlds. So, if you go, you know, how in Portal Fantasy they go to a different realm. And this is about the kids when they come back and what happens to them. Some want to return to the fantasy world because it's much better than this world, and some want to forget this world exists. And this is a very short pardon me, a very short story. It's they're all really short. This is 173. Nope, that's the about the author section. This is 169 pages, my copy. And this follows a girl called Nancy, and this is her time at Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. There is Ace Rep in this book, there is a trans guy in this book, there's just so much LGBTQ plus rep in such a very short amount of time. And I had this on my TBR, and actually it was the wild Sasha who was like, you should read this, you need to read this. So I did, and as a fellow Ace person, she was very right, and you definitely should read this. And it's very short, so even if you're not a reader, it's very short. The next question is the best sequel so far in 2020. Now, I couldn't pick just one for this because both of these books are phenomenal. And that is Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman, which is the cutest continuation of the story. It's just and this centres on their Paris trip, following Nick and Charlie. Now, as this is a sequel, I can't really tell you anything, so I will just talk about the first volume, which is conveniently under my bed because I have read it recently. And this is about these two boys meeting, becoming friends, and falling in love. It's really cute. It's just so cute. As you can see, that is literally what it's about. And Alice Oseman draws it herself, which is really cool. And the other sequel that I couldn't not put on this list because this was just... The first one blew me away. I'm pretty sure this came out this year. Did it come out last year? No, it came out in April. What is time? Why is time? So, this is The Deck of Omens, which is the sequel to The Devouring Grey. The Devouring Grey is about a town called Four Paths. And there is a grey, and it's killing people. And literally everyone in the series is bi. Like, seriously, everyone's just bisexual. So this is more of the bisexual rep. And this duology, because it's a duology, it's now ended, and very sad. I loved the ending, though. This is so beautiful. And there is queer rep, but of boy-girl couples where they're both bisexual. So that's really cool. And we need more of that. And Christine Lynn Herman is fantastic. And just look at that. Look at that! Isn't that amazing? Like, it's so beautiful. And this is the 4 parts, 4 founding families. It's this whole thing. It's so good. I can't show you my copy of the first one because I lent it to a friend, as that happens all the time. The next book, 2020 release you want to read but haven't gotten to yet. Aurora Burning by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, that's the one. This is the sequel to Aurora Rising, which is about this group of, move my stuff out of the way so I can get comfortable. And this is about a group of space cadets. I guess that means something different, but in the context of this, they're basically students at a space school, and Tyler's graduating. He's going to be graduating to his class, except he misses his graduation and doesn't get to pick the best of the best because he has to save a girl called Aurora. And this is the sequel, and it's beautiful, and it's just very beautiful, and I love it. And yes, it's multi-perspective. It's just incredible, and I really loved the first one. It was third on my best books for last year. The Devouring Grey was fourth for context of that. So very excited to read this. It's been on my TBR every month since it came out, which I think it was May? June? No, May. This is June. No, it's July. I have no idea what's going on. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Well, until today, it would have been this, which is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I will talk about that in my TBR video, which I'm filming next. But it's a song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne. My brain doesn't work. Basically, I know nothing about it. It's just beautiful, and I can't wait to get it. And it's already out in America. We're getting it next week, so yikes, struggles. Yeah, biggest disappointment of the year, the Kanima Hat. First time I read it, I was expecting great things because Dr. Seuss is beloved by pretty much everyone, and no, and it's not because I don't like children's books, because in fact one of the books on this list is actually in middle grade, and I quite frequently read children's books anyway because I do enjoy them. And when I say middle grade, I do mean I read below middle grade as well, but this just wasn't it at all. I was really disappointed because I was expecting to love it, but this is just, I think it might be raining. This just didn't do it for me, unfortunately. Best surprise of the year, Serpent and Dove by Shelby Moran. I read this in January, and I honestly thought I would DNF it. It's a very pretty book, and has this beautiful thing there, and like I got like the Fairy Loot edition and everything, and I was like, it's such a beautiful book. I got it last year. It's, you know, so sad. I don't think I'm gonna like it, and it was amazing. I can see the end pages and which is great. I love that Fairy Loot do such special editions of books. But yeah, I genuinely loved every second of this, and you know, it's a very shiny cover. Yeah. But yes, this was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm very excited for Blood and Honey, the sequel, and I'm so glad this is going to be a trilogy. I just hope Blood and Honey doesn't suffer from middle book syndrome. So that's fun. But yes, a witch and a witch hunter found in holy matrimony. There was only one way such a story could end: a stake and a match. Dun dun dun. This is really good. A lot of people really didn't like this, which, hey, your boy's gonna have all the unpopular opinions, isn't he? I just feel so sorry for someone stumbling on this video who didn't realise I was trans. But yes, this is such a good book. Yes, all the good witchy stuff in this book. I don't typically like stories that like there's a relationship or a marriage that's like the central focus, because they're just not usually good. But this one, phenomenal. Favourite new author, again I have two for this. Not that one, and then this one. I have Rin Shupeko, For Wicked As You Wish. I know they have there were other series that I haven't read yet, but this is the first book in 100 Names for Magic, and this was really good. I can't wait to read the next book in this when it comes out, because this was really good. I gave it 5 stars. I do have some issues with it. I really need to do a review for it. But my favourite thing about this is definitely the chapter titles. I genuinely think these. Let me find one that I really like. In which Loki uses a toothpick and Ken loses a fight with a library. Both of those things happen in the book, and it's absolutely hilarious. So this is essentially an alternate history fairy tale series about a found family, modern day magic, finding where you belong. And there is a few LGBTQ plus characters in this book. Talks about immigration issues. So much happens in this book. Yes. In which the Firebird takes a different journey. Yes, and another one of my favourite chapters is the chapter 4 and chapter 5, in which government agents are arseholes, but what else is new? This one, in which the Firebird is an absolute unit. I love YA that has middle grade style chapters and humour. I just love that. I think middle grade has such a great humour that you kind of lose as you go into YA, because YA starts to become a bit more serious. And I like this book is very serious, and has some very serious points, some very serious issues, but it's still funny. I found myself creasing up at this book so many times, and yes, please, more of this, please. More of this, and just more of this. Just fun YA middle grade crossovers. And the other favourite author is Roshani Chokshi, who wrote Rusha and the End of Time. I read this for the first time this year. It's a retelling of the Pandava myths of Hinduism. I clearly don't know. But this is about a girl who lies and has to save the world in Spider-Man pyjamas, no less. But this also has the amazing chapter titles. I think it would have been a lot better if I understood like the mythology, but I did pre-order the sequel. One of my favourite is in this is And Then Came the Horde of Gorilla-Sized Fireflies. I love this. Why were enchanted things so rude? I really, really wouldn't do that. And then next chapter, oh well, she did it. It's just, it was really funny, and I like anything mythology middle grade wise, so I definitely ordered the second one. The fourth one I think comes out either the end of this year or next year, so that's going to be fun. I can't wait to read the sequel because this was just so much fun, and like the fact that there's going to be another quest so soon, sign me up for the quest. Like, I genuinely do enjoy this. I love that it's a reincarnation of the 5 Pandava brothers, and yet there's only 4 in the series, 4 books. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But this is, yes, very amazing book cover. I just, what can I say? I loved this book so much. I did a group read for it, and I think I was the one who loved it the most. And it was also the mistake book for April-May. So for me, I was just like, everyone else doesn't think this book is as amazing as I do. But that Bloody Pigeon, if you've read that book and you know about the pigeon, the Bloody Pigeon. Yes. Newest fictional crush. Now, I'm going to go with 2 because and this one's going to be featured quite a bit now because this is one of the best things I've ever read. For me, it's I'm going to go with Pramana. I think that's how you say her name. She is the demon in this book. She's not really a demon, is she? She's a I will find the name. It's an actual thing. Div, that's it, they're Divs. She's a Pacific Div, but she's absolutely amazing. And here's the fan art of her. She is stunning, and she was such a lovely character, and I completely fell in love with her. And I would kind of happily have Thieves Be Real for this, but this is a queer Persian fairy tale about finding who you are and dealing with fearing who you are and how bad things can be and stuff like that, and it's so good. I read it super quickly and I loved. This is just I can't form words about how great this book was, apparently. I'll put that back down there because I'm going to need it again in a second. And the other crush is Ren from Love and Gelato. He was just a super cute Italian boy, and honestly, of course, I really enjoyed this. I went into this thinking it was going to be really not great. It's just going to be, you know, like a summer YA contemporary romance, and ended up really enjoying it. There's really nothing more I can say about it except it's about a girl who goes to Italy, and there's Italian boys because that's where they live apparently. But yes, this is set in Florence. It's a very beautiful cover. The UK edition is stunning. I prefer it to the US cover, so yeah. Favourite character? Pramana, I think. I do apologise. From Girl, Serpent and Thorn by Melissa Barshadost. Again, it's such a beautiful book. Like, seriously, she just... For the bad girl, because she's a demon. That's kind of her thing. They're all evil, right? No. I mean, she's not perfect. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say she's perfect. I wouldn't say she's the most morally correct character at any time. But she is... Rude. She is one of the more realistic characters I've ever seen. And she was so well written, she felt like a real human. Like, as opposed to a demon. Like, we're told these things about demons, what demons are like. She was just completely different, and honestly, I'm here for it. But yeah, Pramana is just one of those characters that I'm really grateful that I get to read about, because she really, she was really great, and I just can't say anything other than she was really great. Next, book that made you cry. Now, I'm blaming Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction for this. Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I finished this book the other day, and honestly, it was so heartbreakingly beautiful. There were tears. There were tears at the end of this book. This is a book about Achilles and Patroclus and their relationship during the Trojan War. And it was a relationship, but they weren't friends, they weren't cousins, they were a couple. And I will fight this. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. But yes, such a beautiful book. I didn't know the story of Achilles before going into this book. I know next to nothing about the Odyssey except that Odysseus is a terrible human being. I read Circe by Madeline Miller and that was absolutely beautiful, so I was expecting great things and I was told great things, and the romance, like, I genuinely, you could feel the love, because this is told from Patroclus' perspective. You can feel how he feels for Achilles and how real it is and how spectacular it is, and it's just, their love is real. And it transcends. I don't know when the Trojan War was. I know nothing about this, but however many years ago it was, it still feels real now. And the way she's retold this, like, just these little things, like, just the way they'd look at each other, and it was like, you knew, and I just, like, and it made me cry, like, happy tears, sad tears, all the tears, because it's like, I can't speak about this book because it's everything. The book that made you happy. Again, this book just made me so happy. I wanted it to be 3 times as long and I wanted it to be a series because, quite frankly, it needs to be. This was so perfect. And it's not. As far as I'm aware, it's a standalone because it wrapped up really neatly at the end. I just want to be in this world forever. I never want to leave this world. It's so good. So good. The most beautiful book you brought this year, or received this year? Obviously this one. I mean, look at this. Like, how can anyone not think this is just truly beautiful? The sprayed edges, and even the way it's laid out in the book, the reverse onto the dust jacket, how purple it is, just the fact that this is a special edition cover, like, everything about this book is stunning. I'm sorry. Like, Fairy really outdid themselves with this book, and how can you top this book? This was incredible, and I'm very excited to see if I get another book this year that's going to take this spot, because I think right now this is going to be my top book of the year, and that's a lot. It's not Radio Silence levels of good. Like, don't panic, I'm not completely losing my mind, but this is up there. It was just such a beautiful queer fairy tale that I didn't know I needed, that I got to have anyway. And so I'm just in love with this book, and I don't think anyone ever changed it. Just look at the cover. Look at that cover and tell me it's not stunning. Okay, and the last question is, what books do you still need to read by the end of the year? Well, funny you should ask. Me. Because I made a video about books I wanted to read by the end of this year. Yeah. I'm just going to list the ones off that I haven't yet finished, or haven't most of them started. Circle of Shadows, Illuminate, Ruin and Rising, King of Scars, Genuine Fraud, Ash Princess, Red Queen, The Wrath and the Dawn, Flame in the Mist, The Beautiful, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, When the Moon Was Ours, Queen of the Tearling, This Savage Song, City of Ghosts, A Gathering of Shadows, The Dream Thieves, Strange the Dreamer, The Diviners, The Toll, The Babysitter's Coven, The Crown's Game, Sadie, Falling Kingdoms, The Retribution of Maradaya, Snow Like Ashes, True Dark Reigns, and Fire. But you'll be pleased to know I have read 4 off this list. Arusha and the End of Time, Vengeful, Thunderhead, and Queens of Pembo. I'm doing very well. But yes, so that is my mid-year book freakout tag, which is me freaking out about the fact that I'm far behind on my reading challenge. But I did read a new favourite, and yeah. I read a new favourite. I read a bunch of books that I loved. I read one book I didn't like. So yeah, it's gonna be goodbye for me in this amazing book that I just think I'm just going to hug for the rest of eternity because this book is brilliant. So thank you for watching. Have a lovely day, and I will see you next time, or in about 5 minutes when I start filming my TBR. Bye!